The doctor checked for a pulse, then slowly covered her face with a white sheet. But 5 minutes later, the dead woman suddenly opened her eyes, smiled, and whispered 6 terrifying words. "Death gave me one more chance." What she revealed next left an entire hospital speechless, and changed hundreds of lives forever. No one believed miracles anymore, especially not inside Mercy General Hospital. The nurses had seen too many tears. The doctors had delivered too much bad news. Hope usually walked into those halls, but rarely walked out. Then Grace Walker arrived, 38 years old, a single mother, a school janitor who worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. She never complained. Every morning she smiled at strangers. Every night she thanked God for another day, even when life gave her almost nothing. Then one rainy evening, everything changed. Grace was driving home after finishing a late shift when a speeding truck ignored a red light. The collision was deafening. Metal twisted, glass exploded. Her little blue car spun 3 times before crashing into a concrete barrier. By the time paramedics arrived, she wasn't breathing. They rushed her to the emergency room. Doctors worked desperately for nearly 40 minutes. Chest compressions, electric shocks, more medication. Nothing worked. Finally, the lead physician lowered his head. "We've lost her." The room fell silent. One nurse quietly wiped away tears. Grace was officially declared dead. A white sheet covered her body. Her family was called. The paperwork began. Then, 5 minutes later, something impossible happened. Her fingers moved. A nurse froze. The heart monitor suddenly screamed. Grace gasped for air so deeply that everyone in the room jumped backward. Doctors rushed back in. No one could explain it. According to every medical record, Grace had been dead, yet somehow, she was alive again. News spread through the hospital within hours. People called it a miracle. Others called it a mistake. But Grace remained unusually calm. She smiled softly at everyone. She wasn't afraid anymore. 3 days later, she finally explained why. Her daughter asked the question everyone wanted answered. "Mom, what happened after you died?" Grace stared quietly through the hospital window. Then tears rolled down her cheeks. "I remember everything. The room became perfectly still. I stood in complete darkness. But I wasn't afraid. There was no pain, no fear, only peace." Then she saw a figure walking toward her. Not frightening, not angry, just powerful. "So, this is death," she whispered. The figure nodded. Grace expected everything to end. Instead, death spoke. "You have reached the end of your journey." Grace thought about her daughter, about unfinished dreams, about promises she hadn't kept. She fell to her knees. "Please, she still needs me." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then death asked one question. "If I give you another chance, how will you spend it?" Grace didn't ask for money. She didn't ask for fame. She didn't ask to become rich. Instead she answered, "I will spend every day reminding people that life is more valuable than anything they are chasing." Death watched her silently. Then, something extraordinary happened. The darkness slowly disappeared. A warm light surrounded her. One final voice echoed through the silence. "Then go back, and don't waste the gift." The next thing she remembered, she was gasping for air inside the hospital. Doctors called it impossible. Scientists searched for explanations. But Grace never tried to convince anyone. Instead, she kept her promise. She quit worrying about things that didn't matter. She spent more time with her daughter. She forgave people who had hurt her. She visited lonely patients in hospitals. She helped strangers whenever she could. She laughed more, prayed more, loved more. Years passed. People began calling her the woman who came back. Some believed her story, others didn't. Grace never argued. She would simply smile and say, "It doesn't matter whether you believe what happened to me. What matters is that you're still breathing. And as long as you're breathing, you still have time to become the person you were meant to be." One cold winter morning, many years later, Grace peacefully closed her eyes for the final time. This time, there were no flashing lights, no rushing doctors, no fear, only a gentle smile, because she knew, she had already been given the greatest gift anyone could ever receive. Not more money, not more success, not more power, just one more chance. And this time, she had used every single day wisely. Sometimes the greatest miracle isn't escaping death. It's being given another chance to truly live before death finally comes. If this story touched your heart, what would you do differently if you were given one more chance? Let us know in the comments.